So it'll be a lot easier for us if we switch around so that we can draw where this is flat rather than drawn sideways. So what we need to do is, if we type the command UCS, right? So here's our coordinates, and then we've drawn this line vertically up here, and this is our side line. So what we do is we'll click there and we'll say that the x coordinate is going to be perpendicular to that, which is here, whereas the y coordinate is going to be across there, the side. All right, so we set it up like that, and you can see that your indicator cursor has changed into being like that, right? Now, what does that tell us? What it basically does is every time I draw a line, the straight line from the ortho drawing down here will be across there, perpendicular to that line here, which is our coordinates. Now, in order to make it easier on ourselves, we're going to rotate this. So in order to do that, we use the command plan. Press plan, and we call it the current uses. So now you can see how it rotated the whole thing. Not to the north, because north would be facing that way, as that line's pointing there. So that's our north line. But towards a much more easier way for us to draw. So if we are, what we do is we will move this upwards, because this is our north line. And I'll show you how to command again, but what we'll do is we'll draw a new external wall for our side. So I'm going to press on polyline, and we'll start anywhere we want. We'll start from here. And let's say we want to draw it, remember the ortho drawing down here. It allows you to restrict movements at 90 degrees angle only. You can also use some other restrictions here, and you can change the way things snap here by right-clicking here and then changing some of the snap restrictions. But for now, what we want to do is just draw a polyline, press on polyline, start from anywhere on the side, and we're going to draw it to 20 meters, so that's 20,000 millimeters, and then we're going to turn it around, and we're going to add another 20,000, and back up down here again to match this. So if I move my cursor up here, it will basically snap to that as being one of the areas that we're interested in. Or we can just type 20,000 again, and it should be fine. We'll close it up like this. Right, perfect. So now we have a polyline. This is our external wall. Our external walls are not paper thin, are they? They're about 300 millimeters thick in usual. So what we need to do is we want to offset this. Now, how do we offset? Well, we have to go into the Modify tab and find our little offset button. This is here. This is our offset button. So what we do is we need to specify a distance. Our distance will be 300, and then select the object to offset. Well, we want this object to be, and then you can go either on the outside or the inside. This is if you left click outside, it will extend it outwards. If you left click inside, it will extend it inwards. Let's extend it inwards for now. So that frees our layers here, and at the same time, let's go into internal walls and let's draw some internal walls, right? Let's just say from the middle here to the middle there and down to here. That's perfect. We're a little bit over, but that's okay. Actually, we should go all the way down to there. That's all right. And we'll offset these by 150. So these are our internal walls. 150. It's a huge building, this is, but it's okay. So let's continue on. Let's just draw another wall down here. Sorry, another line down here. And another line down here. Let's skip that, and let's just offset these. 150, yes, and press it down, and like that. Yeah, perfect. Right, now you can see that there's some intersects here. What we need to do is we need to trim things, right? So we select all of these, and we go into the trim, and we go, okay, so these are overextended, yes, but at the same time, these don't need to exist because they're internal, but these are not internal lines, they're external lines. So we need to draw another line there later, but let's just first do this. And same with this here. So this needs to have an opening, and because we already did that, right? Okay, I understand. And we're going to do the same here. Oh, Control Z. We are going to do the same thing here. With this there and that there. Perfect. And then we can open up the lines there and open up another one here. Excellent. So now what are we doing? We need to go back to our external walls, and we need to close that up like so. Oh, sorry. So that was a mistake. Now running all around there, we have walls. Perfect. Now what if we want to add the door, right? Let's say we want to add a door into our external wall from here to here. Right, so that's where the door is going to start from, and the door is going to, okay, we need to move that line downwards or copy it downwards. We press the copy command after select. So we first select it, we press the copy command, we select the base point, and we drag our mouse down or up accordingly. We can also specify, let's say 1,000 millimeters, so a meter long. So there you go, that has been moved a meter downwards. And that will become our opening. So if we select these two things and we go back to the trim command and we left click on the ones we want to remove, we've got our trim. There we go. So now we've got an opening. So let's create a little little door, right? So if we go into the door, the blue door, we can create a little polyline, and we're going to make our door frame about 80 millimeters thick. Yeah, that's fine. It's a bit of a thick one, but it's okay. That's our door frame, right? Perfect. And we can just copy that down. It's fine. We can just copy. Can again, select it, press copy, left click the base point, and then just drag it down. Actually, the base point should be down here. So you press escape to cancel the command, and then let's press on this again. Press copy, select the bottom part, and go down here. There we go. So now we've got our two door frames. So let's create the door, shall we? So in order to create the door is another polyline, or we can actually use the create the rectangle line, which is here. And we'll start from this side, and we'll go all the way down here and drag it across by 50 and press enter. There we go. Oh, it's not quite matching. We didn't quite go all the way. It's fine. We select this, we left click on that, and we drag it all the way down. Perfect. Now this door is closed, right? The way you show it on a plan is usually open, so we need to rotate it. So how do we do that? Well, if we select this and we press on the rotate, it says specify base point. So we specify a base point. We left click on the base point, and then we get to specify the degrees. In this case, we want it to be 90 degrees, and press enter. And there we go. We've got an open door. Ideally, it would be a little bit further to the center. Just so it looks nicer. It's not a reason really. And then we leave it there as it was. Let's leave it there as it was. And we'll also add a little arc there to signify that that is an opening. So what we'll do is we'll create a new, particularly new layer called door swing. Let's create it together. Door swing, okay. Let me just create one together. So we'll call it door swing, just so we can check that out. And we want it to be blue, same as the other one, and the thickness will be 0.09, same as the other one for the doors and windows. But the difference would be that instead of a continuous line, we can load a different line. We can load a dashed line, for example. Load that in, select that, and press OK. So now that will be a dashed line. So if we select that and we draw the arc opening here, it will be a dashed line. Now, as for the arc opening, we can have a start, and an endpoint, and we can draw the degrees. We only need 90 degrees, so I'm just going to press 90 and press enter. There we go. And there you go, we've got that. There's a door swing with that. Now the problem is, again, is the scaling, right? So we've got the scaling here. So if we try 10, at 10 and press enter, well, we can start seeing the dashes a little bit, right? So maybe a little bit more, maybe 20. Maybe a little bit too much. All right, let's keep it at 10, but at the same time, we might have to change the type of line there is, because maybe that is not a problem. Maybe the dash 2 line. Let's try that one. That one seems a little bit better. Let's scale it down to 5 for now. There we go, much better. So now we know that that door opens that way. So yeah, we've got our doors, we've got our internal doors. Okay, of course we can add more doors here and there. So let's do it. Let's add more doors. So what we do is we need to select that, and we can copy it, and we can put it. Let's say it's open to this place. We can add one other opening here. Actually, no. What we'll do is we will add it down here. It's easier for us to rotate. And another one down here. Right, so now let's fix them up a little bit. This one in particular requires us to just rotate this, right? We've covered some of the external wall lines here, which we can delete. Actually, so let's just delete that and delete that. What we're interested in is just taking that and rotating it, yeah, like that. There we go, just like that. Now we can see that there's a bit of an issue here. The issue that we have is this does not quite match up with this. Door frame is a little bit too long. So how do we do it? Well, we can use the stretch command. So let's use the stretch command. So the stretch command is quite interesting. You press it and it says select the object to stretch. Well, I want all this to be stretched. Yes, okay. Now specify a base point. Here you have to let's press stretch again and click like that, like this here, like that. Specify base point. Base point will be here, and we want to stretch it down like that. There we go. So what stretch does, so if we go select stretch again, well, it tells us to select the objects. We want these objects, but we want to start from this point here downwards, right? So we are indicating that the green line is between these two elements down there. And when we're done with it, we press enter, and the base point is here, and we move it, press on the left click and move our cursor down until it reaches this point and left click. That way we've stretched that particular material there while moving this whole thing downwards. Now we've done that, so what does that mean? It means that, well, we need to trim this. So if we select these two things and we press trim, see that we can trim this out of here. Yeah. We actually need to move these things as well, a little bit to the left. Need to move them there, perfect. So we need to move this as well. It's a little bit, there we go, right there, excellent. And the same for this thing here as well. So those there on the left, there, and this one on the left as well. Excellent. So now we have our opening. And we can do the same thing for the other one. So let's just delete these ones now, because the other one is actually more catered towards that particular thing. Well, actually before we do that, it would be a very good idea if we go back into the internal walls and we just add a little bit there and a little bit here. There we go, now it's perfect. So now when we select this and we just copy it over to this side, it's a lot easier for us to trim like this. Excellent. Right, so we've got two openings here, but we need another opening there. So we'll select this again. We will copy it, and we can copy it from here. We can specify that, yeah, you know, this is a base point, and we can specify it from there upwards, somewhere there. And we can move it around, no problem. We might even need to move it to here. If you want to be extremely accurate, which is how you should draw buildings, is if you want to go down to this point there where the wall starts and say I want it to be 3 meters from that wall opening. So we write, okay, 3 meters. We press enter. There we go. And now from that point onwards, if we rotate it again from here, we're going to rotate it up to there, now 90 degrees. There we go. Perfect. And we just select these two things and trim between them these two lines. There we go. See? Now that is 3 meters from the edge here and opens up. Okay, so we've got some doors. Perfect. You can add windows, you can do whatever you want. The important thing is that, well, okay, let's say you want to mirror this, right? So if we create a base point there, because we need a middle line, right? So if we create a point from there to there line, and we're going to delete this line, we just want it for the middle part. We want to mirror this, so it opens the other way around. We select the midpoint that we want, and we mirror it. It says erase source object. Yes, we don't want it to be copied, but let's move it. And then we can just erase this. And that's how you mirror. So we've learned some basic commands here. We don't have to trim, to move, to rotate, to copy, to stretch, to scale in the previous document. So everything here is fine. We can even fillet edges for buildings. So you can select one edge, and you can fillet the other edge here. And you can select what you mean by fillet. You know, you can chamfer the edge and so on and so forth. But if you are to zoom in, it would have been filleted. Especially if you have lines like, I'll show you now, if you have lines like this and you have a line like that, you can fillet this with this. And if we go into the properties here, perfect, okay, everything's nice, yeah, okay. Fillet command, radius, we can change the radius to 90 degrees, for example, and we select these two things, and you can see how that's now changed. So fillet can be at 0 degrees, it just joins the two lines like that. But if you select it and then you press here, you can change the radius to whatever you want. If we say 90 degrees or like 45 degrees, you can then create an edge like so, according to what the edge is. In this case, 90 degrees. So let's remove that. We no longer need that. So yeah, these are the basic tools that you're going to be learning. You're learning to work with different layers. You've learned how to work with XREFs. So now with our XREF, for example, with our layers, we can easily create, go here, we can easily unfreeze all of the other layers, and we can have, a fully full amount of information from our drawing, and then when we create our layout, so if we create a new layout like we did before, and we can rename it as our initial plan layout, and we go here into our initial plan. Let's just remove these for now. Let's remove extras. Okay. We are going to change the setup for this, modify the initial plan. Again, we want it to be a PDF. We want it to be on an A1 page, landscape like that. 1:1 units, same as before. Let's just use these plot styles, it's fine. Press OK. Close that. Remove this. Type in mview in order to create our viewport. And go from that edge to this edge here. There we go, created our viewport. And if we go into paper space and we want to have a specific scale, create a custom scale. Now the drawings are usually what you're going to be asked to do is either 1 to 50 or 1 to 100 scale. So if we go scale of 1 to 100 for example, and we draw 100 there, press OK. Yes, so that's 1 to 100. Okay, we go there and we go 1 to 100. There we go, and we pan. It already has it as preset, which is great. That's your plan essentially, 1 to 100. But if you want, you can change it as always. If we press escape, we can change it to 1 to 50. It can allow us to put some more details. If you right click and pan, you can center it as you wish. In this case, I think 1 to 100 is nicer. This is a big building, and there you go. This is how you do it. And then, as always, I would because we're on this scale, we've created the layer, the outside layer with that scale. I would go back into the paper space, and what I would do is you can make it by block, that's fine, but the line weight I would always have as 0 millimeters, so it doesn't show when you print out. So now if we select that, you see it's 0 millimeters, perfect. Now let's plot this to finish off. Continue single sheet plotting. There we go. DWG to PDF. Okay, so press OK, and then it will ask you to save it somewhere. Call that initial plan. And from our initial plan, we press save. And there it is. There's our plan. This is our side boundary. Because we had it as a dotted line, the scaling is a bit off. We need to rescale it to be exact on that, but it's okay. It's just to show you guys how it works. But you can see how the line weights and everything seem to be appropriate for that. We can increase the thickness of these line weights by changing the layers. So that's something we can do. We can change the colors if we put it on monochrome, or if we change the plot styles for green to be a specific thickness, red to be a specific thickness, and this to be a specific thickness. Then it will make this drawing a lot better. Yeah, that is it for now. So in this AutoCAD course, we've learned how to create our layouts. We've learned how to draw basic things, create layers, XREF. We've learned how to rotate our plane. And of course, you can rotate it back. This is the north side now. You can rotate it back by just adjusting the USE file again to be facing north. So if we go here, we say that this is where it needs to point downwards. Go here and then perpendicular to there. Well, that way, yes, perfect. And we can just use the plan command. Yes, there we go. So that way, actually no, it's the wrong way around, isn't it? Oh, what we'll do is we'll draw a line downwards. Oh, it's a bit slow. Just draw a line 90 degrees from that, and we'll do is we'll again do the UCS, and if we use that as the origin, our X is there, our Y is there, perfect. And then we can use the command plan, and there we go. So our north is upwards, like that. And yeah, that is how now you have it north facing, if that is what you want. So that's what we learned. We've learned how to do all of these things, and that should be enough for you to be able to create your own plans, sections, elevations, and everything in AutoCAD. These basic tools. Always, if you need any more help, we will be posting extra references and things to look at for more information. And there are sessions for you to drop in and ask any questions that you may have at the matter. So thank you very much.